It could prove an awkward meeting as the Republican president-elect questioned Mr. Obama's U.S. citizenship and has vowed to dismantle his legacy. Mr. Obama, though, has said he is rooting for Mr. Trump after his shock defeat of Hillary Clinton. Thousands have taken to the streets of major U.S. cities denouncing Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump flew from New York on his private jet and landed at Reagan National Airport, just outside the nation's capital. The two men are expected to appear together for the cameras in the Oval Office after a behind-closed-doors meeting. The president-elect is being accompanied by his wife, Melania, who will have a meeting with First Lady Michelle Obama. Mr. Obama, who for his part had branded Mr. Trump uniquely unqualified for office and campaigned against him, urged all Americans to accept the result of Tuesday's election. "We are now all rooting for his success in uniting and leading the country," he said. The defeated Mrs. Clinton also told supporters Mr. Trump had to be given a chance to lead. Despite their calls, protesters gathered in several cities across the country. Many chanted, "Not my president." In New York, thousands marched on Trump Tower, attacking his policies on immigration, gay rights and reproductive rights. 15 people were arrested, the New York Times reported. Protests were largely peaceful, but in Oakland, California, some demonstrators smashed shop windows and threw missiles at riot police, who reportedly responded with tear gas. A mass anti-Trump rally shut down the Key 101 freeway in Los Angeles. In Chicago, crowds blocked the entrance to Trump Tower, chanting, "No Trump, no KKK, no Fascists USA." In Portland, Oregon, demonstrators temporarily closed an interstate highway. In Washington, D.C., protesters held a candlelit vigil. Organizer Ben Wickler told the crowd, "We are here because in these darkest moments, we are not alone." Demonstrations also took place in Philadelphia, Boston, Seattle, and San Francisco, among other cities. In his victory speech in the early hours of Wednesday, Mr. Trump vowed to bind the wounds of division, after an acrimonious election contest, and to be president for all Americans. White House spokesman Josh Earnest has insisted Mr. Obama will be sincere about ensuring a smooth handover when he meets Mr. Trump, although he added, "I'm not saying it's going to be an easy meeting." With the Republicans holding a majority in both chambers of the U.S. Congress, Mr. Trump has an easier path to pass his laws and scrap key Obama initiatives like his healthcare reforms. Mr. Obama, who congratulated his successor in a phone call in the early hours of Wednesday, said it was no secret that he and Mr. Trump had pretty significant differences. But he added that we all want what's best for this country, and he was heartened by what he heard in Mr. Trump's remarks the night before. The president-elect's transition team for the 10-week period until inauguration will be led by Chris Christie, governor of New Jersey. Mr. Trump, who has never held elected office, has said his immediate priorities will be restoring the country's infrastructure and doubling its economic growth. Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus said, "Donald Trump is taking this very seriously," adding that the business mogul's deal-making ability would enable him to quickly make things happen for the American people. As president-elect, Mr. Trump is entitled to get the same daily intelligence briefing as President Obama, which includes information on covert U.S. operations and other data gathered by America's 17 intelligence agencies. Mr. Trump's team is understood to be focused on quickly filling key national security posts. But it is not yet clear who will sit in his cabinet or fill senior posts in his administration, such as Chief of Staff. C. There are expected to be roles for Mr. Christie, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich and former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, another of Mr. Trump's closest advisers, who is being linked with the role of Attorney General or National Security Advisor. Eyes will also be on who he appoints to oversee foreign relations. On Thursday, Russia's deputy foreign minister said that officials had been in touch with Mr. Trump's staff during the campaign. There are contacts, Interfax news agency quoted Sergei Ryabkov as saying. Mr. Trump drew criticism during the campaign for comments supporting Russian President Vladimir Putin. Democrats accused Russia of meddling in the election and Mrs. Clinton called Mr. Trump a puppet of the Russian leader.